On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
You got two parts. The judges say, listen, first give your yes or no answer, and then you explain. Right? So first give the yes or no, and then explain.
I will do it.
All right, that makes it super clear.
See, y'all need to have him on often. Because I honestly like this. I respect it. I rock with it 100%.
Thank you, Kay.
So
look at Anton. Anton's like, this is some BS, man.
I'm not even tripping because contract negotiations is coming up, and we gonna. You know me. The first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Exhibit A, and percentages change, but so she can feel however she want to feel.
Anton,
with me.
I do
You know
not like how you're trying to turn the lead attorney against me.
That's bullshit.
I have clearly been respecting what he's saying, and I've actually learned something from him because he is an expert in the field.
Hey, JR, can you move switch K and Amir? I would like Amir to be vertically aligned with me. Thank you, sir.
Vertically.
Hey Lee.
Yes, sir.
Do you think there's any truth? So I know you've had.
No, put Lauren back under me. I like that nose ring.
The lead shooting his shot. The lead is shooting his shot.
Okay.
I
see how it is.
No, you know, okay, you know.
No, the lead is shooting his shot.
Rilla, you want her?
Yeah, you put that.
Anton, why do you have to be this way? Like,
listen,
just stop.
Lee, and I know you had Mr. Palmer on, and Mr. Palmer talks about child support being a $51 billion industry, right? So when Courtney said that the judges and the attorneys, gave her that look of disdain or what have you, could that have been a possible reason as to why they gave her that look as well? Because he talks about how the court system receives, a percentage of that child support.
Yeah, it's going to vary state by state. It's not like in Georgia, judges get a cut of every child support order. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to get too deep into this because then we start getting into specifics. Mm-hmm. But there's a private side of child support and a public side. What's the private side? The private side of child support is the child support we normally think of. Back in the day, let's say I was married to Lauren and we had a couple kids and she divorced me. Every 2 weeks, I would go over there to pick up my kids and I would just, I would hand her a check, right? On the 1st, I would hand her a check, and on the 15th, I would hand her a check, or I would mail it in. Now, 10 years later, 20 years later, it's Cash App or it's sending it directly to the state or something like that. So it's between me and Lauren, and the state really doesn't know about it, especially if she doesn't have me on child support. I'm paying. She's fine with the number. I'm more or less fine with the number, and we're both cool. Now, there's a public side of child support as well. Let's say Lauren is doing bad and she applies for government aid, welfare, food stamps, stuff like that. They're going to go to her and they're going to say, hey, why are you applying for food stamps? You got these kids. Where's the father? And Lauren's going to be like, oh, don't worry about him. And the state's going to say, no, we're not going to give you any food stamps until you tell us exactly where the lead attorney is. You need to tell us his address. You need to tell us his employer. You need to give us all the details, his social security number, birth date. Now she needs these food stamps, so she's gonna dime me out. Now, after she dimes me out, the state is gonna give her the food stamps, but then they're gonna come after me. And let's say they order me to pay, $800 a month. Well, I'm gonna pay the state $800 a month, but they're not gonna give that $800 to Lauren. Why? Because they're already giving her the food stamps. They are keeping my $800 to reimburse themselves for the food stamps that Lauren's getting. So now the state is actually benefiting from the fact that I have these children. And so in certain circumstances, the court system and the state absolutely have an incentive to put as many men in the child support industrial complex as possible. They absolutely have an incentive. That incentive isn't really there if it's just me and Lauren and I'm just showing up at her crib every 2 weeks to pay her the child support. But if I have to pay my child support to the state of California, for example, she might only receive $50 out of my $600-700 check, and then they're just going to keep the rest and they'll go, well, she's on child support. Now Lauren's going to be pissed off because she's like, well, he's a deadbeat dad because I'm only giving 50%. She's going to get mad at me. She's going to be talking bad about me to my own kids, turn my kids against me. She's going to be giving me problems in terms of picking up my kids. So now whenever I go to pick up my kids, she got her face on, right? She got an attitude.
You ain't got to worry about that.
Right? I ain't got to worry about that. All right. but then I have an attitude. I have an attitude too, because I'm like, why are you getting crunk with me when the $800 is getting taken directly out of my check? Like, I'm paying. You need to be smiling. But no one is smiling except for the state of California and these judges. So Mr. Palmer is exactly right. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. I mean, in a lot of cases, these judges. Now the lawyers, really, we don't have a dog in the fight. I don't get paid more if you pay more or less child support. So it's not the lawyers. It could be the state's attorneys, the state, because if Lauren, I mean, this is how unjust the system is. Lauren doesn't even have to hire an attorney to get child support. She can just show up to the court and say, hey, I want my child support, and the state will assign her case to an attorney. But for the guys, it's not like that. We don't get a free attorney. Most time we just got to show up alone if we don't have a lot of money, or just try to hire an attorney ourselves. So the women are so favored in this family court system. I can talk forever, guys. So if you guys want to jump in, like,
we're not trying to stop you.
Yeah, we're not trying to stop you.
You know me.
Well, wait a minute. I wanted to know. Wait. I wanted a definitive answer. So since we got the lead attorney's input, Kay, do you think the laws should be updated in family court?
I already addressed this. He mentioned that it wasn't necessarily the law, but it was more so the judges. But then he brought up a point about how he thinks it should be 50-50 to begin with versus like default 50-50 versus like everybody gets a chance type of thing, which is different, right? And I agreed with him about that. So if you were listening, you would have known that
I definitely was listening, and I asked you a flat out yes or no question.
Okay, but I
don't even know where all this testosterone and energy coming from. I really don't. I'm really bugging because the lead attorney. Wait. He literally gets on. He tells you out the first sentence out his mouth is Chicago really is actually right. But I believe you because you got expertise, not the guy that actually went through divorce and been married for 10 years and paying child support, not the guy that's in the system. I don't believe him because he can't cite me a law.
What did he say you were right about?
He said the laws that we have for family court were basically based on the premises of 1950 court law. That's what he said. It was in the 50s.
Here's your quiz.
No, okay. Don't dodge this.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Okay.
Okay.
The question was yes or no. Do you believe family court laws should be updated? That's just a simple yes or no.
Chicago. I just said that according to what Lead said.
She's not gonna say yes or no.
No, I am.
You know what's so funny? She thinks she's
I am.
Smart.
According to what
she thinks she's so witty. She thinks she's weaving and dodging through this whole thing, and it's just making her look like she's great.
Listen. This is what attorneys do. This is how they handle it in court. You got two parts. The judges say, listen, first give your yes or no answer, and then you explain. Right. So first give the yes or no, and then explain.
I will do it.
All right. That makes it super clear.
See, y'all need to have him on often because I honestly like this. I respect it. I rock with it 100%.
Thank you, Kay.
So
look at Anton. Anton's like, this is some BS, man.
I'm not even tripping because contract negotiations is coming up, and we gonna. You know me, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Exhibit A. And percentages change, so she can feel however she want to feel with me.
I do not like how you're trying to turn the lead attorney against me.
That's bullshit.
I have clearly been respecting what he's saying, and I've actually learned something from him because he is an expert in the field.